Hello, my friends. It's been a long time since I've recorded a video. I don't know. Life's been kind of busy, so it's just been one of those things that happens. But today I wanted to talk about the importance of relaxation and taking care of yourself. And there's my bedroom that I've been working on. So I have a lot of work to do. Still gotta finish the artwork up there. But at night it's really trippy with all the UV lamps. And I've been thinking a lot about certain things today. You can close some of them. It's like the holidays, the main ones at least, are over. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day, all the ones where we get overly emotional sometimes. A lot of these are like family oriented holidays, and I don't really have a family, so it gets hard sometimes. I try to keep my optimism up and like ride the wave of the spirit of the holiday and just like be like, hey, like send love and light and everyone. But a lot of the times I spend a lot of time alone here by myself. But what I was saying is, with Christmas and everything, I feel like everyone has just been on this like high of just like Christmas shopping and spending time with their families and cooking. And I think a lot of people haven't taken the time to slow down and like take care of like a little bit of their own personal needs. I'm getting, the reason my voice sounds the way it does is like I'm getting over a cold. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as like last month when I had pharyngitis, but still, it's, my head hurts, my eyes hurt. It's a little painful, and I don't really take medication. I mean, I do like my own at-home remedies, but that's where I wanted to get to. It's like when you're sick and you're alone, you realize that time goes by slower than when you're in a good mood and you're out shopping, having a fun time. And it makes you think about, certain aspects of your life where you could improve. I think a lot of us sometimes stretch ourselves too thin doing things for others. We spend a lot of time, like pleasing people, whether it's our bosses, whether it's, like doing 10,000 things for your spouse, like your friends, and it's like I've gotten to the point where it's like I realize like a lot of people, message me or text me or whatever, but it's always when people need a favor, and it's always like, sure, like I'll do you that favor, but it gets to be hard sometimes, especially when we're like empaths and, we do as much as we can for others, where like, that others aren't gonna do as much for you, but you still do it anyways because, you have a big heart, you just want to help everyone. And it's just, I've had to, since January, like my resolution for this year was just to focus more on self-care, like take care of myself so that I'm not stressing myself out. I mean, life is a precious gift. It's beautiful when you feel great and don't have a cold. If I didn't have a cold, I would be playing out in the snow right now, which is so beautiful. Like, I don't know. You might not be able to see it because it's so bright. But it's been so beautiful the past few days, with the ground covered in snow. But I'm trying to take care of my health and, not expose myself. Like, I know that if I layer up, I'll be fine, but I don't want to get more sick than I already am or end up with something worse because not taking care of myself. So I've been drinking hot tea. I've been, trying to eat healthier. Thanksgiving kind of fucked everything up because it's always Thanksgiving. You have that Thanksgiving Day meal, and then from there on, it just spirals. It's just like, then comes Christmas and all the baked goods. Then comes Valentine's Day and all the chocolate and all the candy everywhere. And then there's Easter, which Easter doesn't pull my attention too much because I consider that more of a kid's holiday. Like I don't do the whole Easter egg hunt, and like I don't really have children to go do these activities, like, so it's Easter, I think I'll be fine for that. But today I want to like refocus and get back to, eating healthier, maybe getting a little bit more physical exercise, like I know that it's been cold and I've been slacking and I haven't been leaving the apartment, but I think I need to focus more on like, what, even if it's cold at night, I need to just kind of layer up and just go for my walks because that's what I enjoy the most. Anyways, once the whole town is asleep, like after 10 p.m., once like there's no cars on the road, there's no people out, like I like to just explore the town and just go from like one end to the other and just to really have fun, in that like peaceful tranquility of like no people, because people can get on your nerves sometimes. I mean, I love people, but I'm very introverted, so I enjoy my personal just being at home and doing artwork and, and, it's like if you have stressful jobs you hate, you're always tired by the end of the week, it comes Friday, it's like you have to like eventually take the initiative to find something better that suits you. Like I always tell people, if you do the job you love or do the things you love, you'll never feel like you're working a day in your life. Like I've worked, in retail, I've worked, in fast food, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, some of those managers, like in fast food chains, are complete assholes. Like, they treat you like a dog, you work your butt off, like you get no appreciation, no recognition. I don't recommend working fast food for any, like, adults. That's more of like if you're 16, 17 years old, do fast food, but don't do fast food or retail. Find your passion, find what you love to do. For me, it's creating art. It's, all sorts of art forms, from acrylic painting to, watercolors, mixed media. Some of the best jobs I've had where I felt like I loved going to work every day when I worked service jobs were like when I worked at Starbucks, because I love coffee. I had a passion for coffee and tea. So like working Starbucks, making coffee, always just interacting with people, it was fun. It was beautiful life. My quality of life was really good, like when I worked at AutoZone, I used to love working in auto parts sales, like I was a sales manager for AutoZone for so many years, and I just loved, auto parts. Like it's, even though I've never actually worked on a car, but I loved being just a salesperson, in auto parts, organizing shelves, stocking, truck, it was fun, and those are like jobs that like I enjoyed, like everyone has different things that they love, and it's like really find what you love to do and follow that path, don't get stuck working a job you hate or your managers don't treat you right or you don't get paid enough, like life is too short. Life is a celebration, now that I, pretty much just work for myself, it's like, it's nice, I set my own schedule, and it works great because most of my art, most of my work that I do is from like 3 a.m. till like 6, 7 a.m. and then I sleep in the middle of the morning and then I wake up and then I go shopping and I go drink my coffee and then I take a middle of the afternoon nap and then I wake up like at 10 p.m. at night, and it's like I pretty much have set my life to my schedule And it's like, I feel so much peace, like I just live for myself these days, like this year has been a year of like self-realization where it's like life, I'm 34 years old, I'm not getting any younger, every day that goes by, it's one day less you have. You don't think of this in your youth, but the older you get, the more you start to realize that, like, every day is beautiful. It's perfect, like, don't waste a day going to bed unhappy. Like every night when you go to bed, you should be in a good mood, you should be happy, like, yeah, life isn't peachy. My life, for the people that know me in real life, like in person, I've been through hell and back, like I've struggled, I've suffered, emotional abuse, physical abuse, like mental abuse, like everything. Like I've had multiple suicide attempts, like I've been electrocuted, like you name it. It's like life hasn't been peachy, but I value these experiences because they give you contrast, without the negative, without the pain. How can you truly feel the pleasure? Like I feel like my pain has been so deep my whole life, like this pain in my soul and in my heart, and it's like, but it amplifies the amount of beauty I can see in the world. Like every day to me is like the most beautiful day ever. Like that's why I take so many pictures of the scenery. That's why I like to go to all these churches and all these local shops, and I like to go to the coffee shops too to sit around and have coffee. And I'm at a point where it's just like I just want to live a peaceful, happy life. I like to play with my candles and my incense, like a lot of my UV stuff, it's like it's with my UV lamps. Once I turn off these lamps, everything is like UV reactive, and it just makes everything pop out, especially at night when there's no like day light coming in through the windows. It looks much more intense. And right now I have like most of my artwork that I had like for this last minute exhibition thing that I set up at the Tin Can Chandelier. So all the art that was on my walls, I kind of had to go to that exhibition because I didn't really have much made. But I'm going to start creating more art next month. I have other things coming up, and it's like I have a lot of, just a lot of time to like work on me. It's like do the things that I've always wanted to, because tomorrow is never guaranteed. It's like like people are always like, well, I want to save up for the future. I want to do this. I have all these plans for 10 years from now. And it's like the way that life has been on my end, it's like you can't plan that far ahead because people just die all the time, like from my relatives to like my loved ones to like really close friends to people I went to college with. It's like one minute they're there and then the next minute they're just like boom, they're gone. And it's 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 an important point in your life when you realize that like the how fragile, like, and delicate, life is. Like we're like insects on this rock just flying through space, and it's just like it just takes one little thing to like squeeze you and like you're gone, like an ant being stepped on, like someone shoots you, like a brick falls on you and hits you on the head, like you drown in a river, like there's 10 million ways that, life can just end, and it's like people who don't value life and who don't live passionately, like it breaks my heart. And it's like, why? And it's like, I know what it's like to live with chronic pain, like I have a lot of health issues, and mental issues, and it's like, but you push past that, like it takes a lot for me to get in a good space mentally every day, like my thoughts, because of my disorder, they do go into the darker side, and then it's like, wait, slow down, like bring yourself back, like realign yourself, like go back to square one, like blank slate, just it's a beautiful day because you can make it whatever you want. It's like I've been alone for so long because, like, I was even thinking about it last night. I got a little bit emotional for Valentine's Day, and it's like, I'm like, ah, I kind of wish I had another human being, with me. But then I'm like, could I tolerate living with someone else? Can I tolerate someone else taking time away from me when I pretty much date myself every day? Like, I do things, like I live like so spontaneous and do whatever I want, and it's like it's almost like I'm dating myself, and it's scary to think that like I have to share my me time with me with another human being. I mean, the holidays do get kind of sad, and you see like all these mushy posts, like all these happy smiley couples, and it's like, yeah, that's beautiful and all, but I like being alone. Like, I have a pet rat, and I feel like a bad rat parent because I'm so used to being alone that I forget that she's even there sometimes. I have to remember it's like, oh shit, like I gotta get her out of the cage, give her some, walking around, hanging out in the bedroom time, hanging out with me while I do artwork, because I'm so used to just being used to not having an interaction with any other beings, whether it be animals, whether it be people, like it's usually just me, like, and I've been that way most of my adult life, and I kind of like it, like I like that independence, like no one can tell me anything what to do or persuade me to do anything. Like everything I do is pretty much my choice, it's like I want to wear these colors today, this is what I'm gonna wear, like I want to go walk in this part of town today, that's what I'm gonna do. I want to go shopping, like that's what I'm gonna do. It's like there's so much beauty, because like all the people that I love, like that have loved deeply in life, they're dead. They're up there, in the spiritual realm, and I know I'll be there one day, with them. So like, why not let them see the world through my eyes, being alive? Like I talk to my grandmother constantly on my walks, and like to my loved ones that have passed, and pretty much everyone that I've ever loved is dead. And it's like I still keep them alive in my heart. I think about them, I talk to them, and I pretty much just know that they're always with me. Like I look at the snow and like the beautiful like trees, and when everything is covered in ice and it looks like crystals, and I'm talking to my grandmother, in my head, in spirit or whatever, like, and I'm like, look how beautiful this is. I wish I could have brought you here when you were alive to show you. Like I wish you could see everything I see when I'm exploring, when I'm going into abandoned buildings and I'm seeing all this artwork on the walls and the graffiti, and like, and it's so dangerous because like there's like collapsed roofs, there's missing, floors and whatever, and it's just like that adrenaline. It's like, oh my god, like I could die, but it's so worth it, like I'm getting to see things that most people don't, like when I'm underground, like through the town, going underneath the bridges, and like exploring the most remote parts where people don't even imagine that there's much going on, and it's like you find the most beautiful things, and it's like I think life is just such a magnificent blessing, and it disheartens me to know that there's people who are bitter all the time, like I get looks, like when I go out into public, when I'm smiling and when I'm happy and when I'm in a good mood, people that are bitter and hateful, like they just give you those looks that are just like, what are you so happy about? What's so great about life? And it's like, the greatest thing about life is that I'm alive. Like, that's what's so great, like I'm alive, like I've crossed over so many times and had my near death experiences. Like this, it's whether I'm sick or feeling like I have a headache, I'm still happy because I'm alive. Whether I'm in pain, whether I'm in grief, whether I've just lost someone, I'm always happy because I'm alive. Like life is just this magical force. It's like it's pure magic. How does human existence, like how does animal existence, how does plant existence, how did all of this just happen, like and you think, like I'm a very spiritual person, so like I can go into depths with the spiritual stuff, but it's like I know a lot of people are not. Some of you are atheists or agnostic or Christian or whatever, and it's just like I respect everyone's beliefs, like I think, but knowing that there's more to than just this, like it's it's great to know that, like every second is not something you deserve. Like it's a gift. Like every second you're alive, every minute that goes by, it's like you're never gonna get that back. It's like, and I just, I mean, I know that I'm going on now and it's on my rant, but it's like I just really needed to let out a lot of emotions that I've been holding in since the beginning of the year. It's like January 1st hit and I was like, I'm changing everything about my life. Like I'm done suffering. I'm done crying. I'm done being miserable. I'm done being in pain. It's like I'm going to just feel alive. I'm just gonna have a party every day and do whatever the fuck I want, and just enjoy the fuck out of life, eat whatever I want, drink whatever I want, do whatever I want if I want to do things that, aren't, you know, morally correct, like I'm still gonna do them because I want to do them. If I'm eating things that are unhealthy, I'm still gonna eat them because I want to eat them. I mean, I'm gonna try to take care of my health because that is one of my priorities, but like I'm not gonna neglect myself. Like if I'm at Dairy Queen and I see an ice cream cake and it's been a while, and just be like, okay, I can eat a whole small ice cream cake by myself and just be like, fuck it, have a fat day. Just like I can, like, I mean, I don't want to get too fat and chunky before summer gets here because then it's uncomfortable and you're sweating and stuff. Right now in the winter, like the few extra pounds, it's okay because it's like you need the insulation because it's like it's cold out, so like the extra layers are good, but like it's almost, like summertime and it's like the hot weather comes and then you feel like a stick of butter melting if you're too chunky, like I can't do that. But I love you all, like my friends, and like I know a lot of you have just been wanting to spend time with me, but I've just kind of been wanting to like spend time with myself, and it's like I need help in the apartment. I'm just one person. Like I need some like the kitchen's a hot mess. Like the bedroom is great. It's been like I just have a few details, some artwork to add. The closet needs some bars in there. I need to hang up my clothes. But the kitchen just it's just I'm still the walls are still dirty. They need scrubbed. It needs deep clean with like bleach and everything needs clean before I could even start painting and working on that. But like the past 3 months, my bedroom is what I've been working on to get it livable, to make it my room, to make it feel like I want to spend time here, like to get it the way I want, like all of my artwork and, it's just, it's like, it's perfect, it's just, everything is perfect just as it is. And I'm happy, I'm happy to be alive. That's something I never thought I would ever say, like I've always just had this darkness with me, for 34 years, like it wasn't until I turned 34 here in December, and then shortly after New Year's, I was hospitalized because I almost died when I bled to death, like I almost bled to death, and that was a whole horror story that I don't want to get into, but now that like I got out of the hospital and I survived and I didn't die, I got really close to dying. The beginning of the year came, like I was discharged on December 31st, and it's just like it's a whole new life. It's like I'm going to spend the rest of my life focusing on the spiritual. It's just because it's at any point you can just cross over and not be here anymore. So it's like, why not have fun? Do the things. I think as adults we forget, like, you can have fun. Fun isn't just for kids. Do the things that make you have fun, whether it's going out to the bar and drinking with friends, smoking weed, having sex, like whatever you want to do for fun, just have fun, like that's what life is about. Do art, do whatever, make music, but yeah, I love all of you, and I'm sorry if I've just been a little distant from some of you, like it's just I've really needed my alone time, but I'm getting better. Like towards the end of this month, like I should have more of a free schedule for people who want me to go over and visit them or hang out, or we can go, on hikes and stuff. It's just right now I just want to focus on my apartment. Like that's my main focus. Like if you can't like come over and hang out and help me, like I'm pretty much don't have time to hang out. But I love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful weekend, because that snow out there is so beautiful. Everything is covered in snow, and it's the most beautiful thing about February and like, this time of the year. So hopefully all of my friends in northern hemisphere are just having a blast with this beautiful, beautiful weather. I love you guys. Until next time.